This is Chariot.
Good afternoon. This is Chariot TV, and this program is Q&A live. Always on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. and then almost 6 o'clock. Yes, yaba Q&A, and all that we do on the program is to pick your questions, answer them biblically for you. And so yabasi ana wabomode na odo question or comment no ato ho na yabomode so ebie chronwa no mu Bible no mu na ya answer wo meaning at the Shadrach upon me sampakani saranso na minia Jonathan mensabonsu ofiano manche mubohuno ɔno nso so ɛyɛ sɛmpakani na yɛabɔ mmɔden sɛ yɛagye berɛ wei asi hɔ for you in particular. So we are not here to come and preach to you or to discuss anything. We are here to pick your questions and then we answer them. Whatever question that you have, we will entreat that you bring it to us and then we all discuss it, open the scriptures together and read them to try and answer your questions. Then they say, oh, Assembly Ebisa, but more than say, this is the time. Yes, sir, Ode Eba na yenyina ye bobo eho. Aha Chariot TV. Jumadi we live Chariot TV on Facebook. Saranso na Church of Christ TV on Facebook. Jumadi we krona sa live YouTube Chariot TV YouTube. Now interestingly Esa Ekegu www.chariot.tv.com. Radin Shaw said, Ojebre. Now here, let's read your comment. Keep your comment coming, and we will be here to assist you. Isaac Beza and Aborum first will say he's watching live. Now, Obama so out to highlight. Say, and then press time one. Wabi who start platform where I had the A and say you see the Bible money you see nema ahodo bebre na ye program almost every day. Sometimes yana a platform for so but beside that Monday I love and family corner na opanyi Georgia san and ebusafo Jibre na yetumi Esuandia. And no yet Mondays. On Tuesdays, here or dear friend, point out. The Bakani Biba no be pointed out at the CMB at their mind so that we can learn a lot from it. Another in China, Wednesdays, we need Q&A. Wednesdays Q&A na Q&A no ye body say basia. Na ya pick all my questions are more na ye you biano and no gyina hɔ enya say ye question na kufia ba e bi hyehyehye haya na ya bomode na ye yi ano nti that's what we do on Wednesdays. We answer your questions that you bring live here. And then on Thursdays you started resume apologetic hour. And now we are looking at alleged Bible contradictions. Na unia Edward Ami here and Jonathan Mensabosu Ejebre na Omo Abo Juma. Saranson of Fridays, test talk. Interestingly, this Friday, she started lesson on the book of Revelation. Lessons on the book of Revelation. You know, so you'll be up at Revelation this year. Na unyan shedanye misraw. Start introduction this Friday. Time no 7 p.m. Almost all our programs are 7 p.m. So the book of Revelation this Friday at 7 p.m. And then on Saturday, starting new program, new topic, a deep Bible study. I spent almost 12 episodes, lessons on the Sabbath. Now, I can say the SU for Sabbath will be a bomber na yesia. Internet say, Opese, usia a lot about Sabbath. Okoye YouTube channel now. There's a playlist on the Sabbath that you can learn, and also Ewo Honomo. Into that is on DBS every Saturday at 1 p.m. GMT. Into and also ubetumi ako na oni esuande. This Saturday there lesson e dey bani more shit na lesson bebe na hwe ni musi betumi esua. Into bomoden na ejibre na ni ehia come Saturday. Na n'enyumre Saturday n'enyumre yeah, what we call straight talk, and wada. Now the A is to say the book of Romans. You see, reading Romans right, and also Eguso, Sharakapon, and Jonathan, Ejeja, na Omde Sadisiano, Ede Abrain. Now finally on Sundays, na yenya action time. Obed Morte and Richard. The Dino Yin can Richard. She said also on Richard or the Richard. The Abridged Crofo. It's Richard Donko. And so Ebejinaja on Obed Morte every day Sadisiano epe praying. Or for comment out about Robert Boza Ato a highlight. Saransona Alex Ruiz as it then on YouTube was hi Robert. Hey Alex hi. Where they talking Virgin TV. I hope say the Dino said they were fans and Chuck there. I think it's Chucking in Chasova until Chuck is saying it's a swing low sweet chariot coming forth to carry me home. And that's what you're saying. Yo, yati, I want to carry you home. And Isaac Mesa, Isaac Mesa, so they are also watching that they watching that auto target that Odia leader don't call and then Kwesi Debra. We have for a live program. It is a Obaswa na Obamode Amiatonka. Say also Chumedian so. Yes, you go so epic more questions. No, or bra questioning your mind. No question, Emma Abranti. Joe, what point to say?
I'm not doing also.
Mishana Mary Achumo na Mary. They know what to say.
Boko, you bende. See gususa.
Bende. Abrabon de. Yenya way and de na say from wara. In Jonathan. Yeah, cause.
Enti egusu kakaka na ye fa akonya so da adofo asese da nda nyina no. Omoje bre na omohwe dwumadie. It has not been easy, but enyanom eje brehwe. This is the second season of and the seed episode. You share after and I think I am makunsia. I feel no call any mubiara say you are still in the second month, but your team 6 episodes. That shows you, yes, that means you have not mixed. You may say cry. I finish as on Q&A live there. You may say you need to move back crampo, and all because of a commitment and more with the money. So it's very interesting and very educative.
Yes, sir. Your last time I said no do a question. And now.
Well, I mean, question crop. No, okay. Because last time there were several questions that were in.
I think I answered
Bobo Biso, but Menkai say it be Kai there. They query not several questions. But out of 4 area, they can drop in their comment or questions, particularly our comment box, or they just drop in a question in there. Then we can answer you accordingly.
Into a question over Modena or the Abana. And sound. Na him. And I Joe Yuguswa, train. There's a questioner. 10 Biana in Central 4%. ombusa. And this time around, I want to ask the question, well, mibusa ni ye. Mibusa ni ye.
Who busa question ye?
There's a question beyond for ewo, but who is over the years na ye musa ni ye. Nti mibusa ni ye no answer me. Question is a dainty ena steme so yankopon. Na me decided say in the worship now me offer to God now. Me decided say me use mechanical instrument in the worshiper. Dainty ena ebe affecting me kwaji dainty na it's going to have a serious effect on my salvation.
Okay, so the subject question has something to do with instrumental music. Say instrumental
piano, music in worship.
Yeah, piano, guitar. And normally we sing that instrument, and it might suppose that piano you're okay, and I say guitar you're okay. Guitar and same code, all the instrument, mechanical instrument, they are all in the subject as somebody can answer me. And your question is, does it affect our salvation? And why? That's the question. So the first thing is generally. So there's a principle I would say the gatiasie. Nyamesumu generally no. So nipa beye bribi na aso nyankopon ani a agye se onipa no agye nya tumi efiri nyame ho. So mama sibio. Good. In other words, say onipa betima ye bribi na aso nyankopon ani a agye se nyankopon no ama ne kwan se onye ne saa. Nti nyankopon na edi kan hyema wo say na ade na mpese ye ma me. Onipa mfiri ono ani pem na omfiri ono ani tirimu emu ni tirimu se opiso ye bibi ma nyame e wa bra nyankopon enka ho asem enche no se wonye na aso nyankopon ani ansa na bibi beso nyankopon ani no age se nipa no ohwede nyankopon aka, right? Ohwede nyankopon aka na why the pet said nyankopon pese woye enti. That is why the first thing I will say and so nipa say emfa ho ne number of passages are met me ma and as nipa ho number of passages are ye bekin ka kire onipa no ntimi nti de ye kana se. The person have to understand say efanya me som for religion, for Christianity, Judaism, whatever religion nyankopon and say free nyankopon eba wi nipa ho onipa embody trim so ye bibi ma nyame na mom bibia mu no nyankopon di ka kire nipa no de wonye o kire ne de wonye and o kire nipa de wonye then it means God has first of all authorized but focus on say nyankopon na ahye nyankopon ne hye na nipa ye wo assume generally speaking na yesu asa principle yi de din kan infra pamda dem. So what I say upon that demo, as our pampu so, but yes, shall see free upon that demo. And upon that demo, no, my first passage maybe made Merco Kane, the book of Leviticus. Okay, the word Leviticus has something means pertaining to the Levites or things that pertains to the Levites. It's a human one na asofukuo no, because of no. I mean, the Levi Abusia, that's broadly speaking, Levi Abusia, and your man never found Omu Sa Economy, and an Yankopon power so for free, right? Inti Yankopon Momu and near Bia, Omunyane, a kind of Mubasi, Omunio Mania that day, and they were all related to Yamesom worship, Musum near their day for the ball, sending Musian fans, and all those things are codified in the Yatreo. So you start reading the book of Leviticus. First 3 chapters talks about some sacrifices, and for the Ahudua or Mummonia the other day, and that discusses the book from that standpoint. But Okuanim Kakra in Leviticus chapter 9, there we see Aaron's first sacrifice. Aaron the first high priest nyankopon epaw no e Jews mu. So the first high priest is Aaron. Indeed, asofo a free Aaron kwaso no, the from bofkasa mu no, Aaronic priesthood. Aaron kwaso sofu. That's bofkasa say Aaronic priesthood, and they say Aaron kwaso sofu. Good. But the first time Aaron bar for there I recorded is in Leviticus chapter 9, where that passage makes it clear. Aaron bar for there no nyankopon gia for there ni tum. If say jabe so ye ma ehun sinsanso no kosoro ma oman ni nyina ehwe ehun ye say Aaron bar for there Aaron put there. Aaron bar for there no. Then was the turn of Aaron and Ma. So Aaron no mema and 9-4. Actually, but the first two sons, which is Nadab and Abihu. So called Leviticus chapter 10, they also was offering sacrifice. But I want us to read how the text actually brings it up. Inti Shannon say, Aaron above for there in Leviticus chapter 9. But Leviticus chapter 10, then the mama you know above for there. Let's see what happened. Well, Leviticus Humano. It said, right, I'm just going there. It said the moon back or say, and Nadab util but which I saw kind chapter 9 no bar verse 23 no say, and Moses and Aaron went into the tabernacle and came out and blessed the people, and the glory of the people appeared to all, and the glory of the Lord appeared to all the people. Then came a fire from out from before the Lord, and consumed the water, the burnt offering, and the fat. Which when all the people saw, they shouted, and their fell on their faces. So where Aaron about for the and verse 10 or say, and Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron. Nadab, Abihu, the sons of Aaron, took of them his senses. The mofa for the almost sensor. The next one, and put fire therein. Omudi oja eguso, right? And the next one says, and put incense thereon. Omudi edusham egumu. And offered strange fire before the Lord, which he commanded them not. Which he commanded them not. So the first thing, they were not offering this sacrifice to idols. And abosum and abosum for and agofui and amanti eba for there ama amano. No, they were not offering it to idols. So Sajin say, oh, Yankopon de said I'm a corner near some. On the nipa penica. When the castle also Yame corner near some. No, the Yame chrono, but Yankopon chrono. And not that they are be would assume no. And we will ye. So what's the Michia say? And Yame chrono, I can be. And as I for me, assume no, and we will ye. So the fact say, what you also what the man does not necessarily imply, say, the way no papa and the way Yankopon too. Into the mere fact of having the intent that you are giving it to God, and even coming out of your heart. Say if you are kumamu, there's no indication in the text that suggested that Nadab and Abihu were forced. I say Abijah, so say mama for there. Now I can say okay, well their problem is that they not obi tawod and obi show. No. The text didn't indicate that. Bible no text no one thing again answer. So they had pure motive of doing what is right before God, and they were doing it to go for God. But the mere fact of offering something up to God does not make what you are doing right. And people will bring a problem. The next thing is to say they had most of their things right. They had the senses right. They had fire right. They have incense right. Their problem was strange fire they put on the fire. translation is strange fire. Other translation will say foreign fire or something like that. But the text wanted to clarify. Moses and Yakupon or chok Sahumaya Mayeno or Persia Tiasia, what is happening? Into a kind of pain said, Yenshe won humra, which God commanded them not. Nyankupon enshe won humra eba unyakupon. So that is the instance that they offered something that God has not commanded. Nyankupon enshe won.
Then the idea here, and it's a God whom they were sacrificing to know had made some proclamation and also had made some more like a request as to what a job from running.
Yes, Nyankopon actually a kwan any jakura won fam na nanim.
And now omukopa the unknown country.
Yes, the among country, but they say, well, maybe they might say, well, we are the man and Yanko, the Yanko, Nina Beko, Seputogum, Vurugum, Nina Quansan, Pugum, Nina Quansan, Crone,
but yo, so what's the big deal here?
So the big deal with God, the big deal is with God that we are serving, the God of the Bible. When he has not commanded you something and you bring it before him, you profane him. Yes. So when you are to the dear makers and say it's not coming from me. Moses clarified that some chrono. You can't cry better say. Verse 3 no say. No verse 2 no. Or say, and there went out from the Lord and there went out fire from the Lord and devoured them. And they died before them. Verse 3. Then Moses said to Aaron, this is that the Lord spoke, saying, I will be sanctified in them that come near me, and before all the people I will be glorified. And Aaron held his peace. Moses ehunu de ekọ so say jab free soro be hye won. Ana Moses say we the Nyankopon ka kire me say, and he's quoting a passage. He's quoting a passage. Nyankopon ka kire no. Nyankopon ka kire no say, so omo ba ne nchen nyina no, or say omo ye ne konkron, they have to sanctify him, right? Numbers chapter 11 verse 1 and 16. Omo ba ne nchen nyina no, or so Moses say when Nyankopon ka kire be say omo ba me nchen nyina, or so omo ye ne konkron, they have to sanctify me. Sanctify me has something to do with profanity. Something which is profane is not something sanctified. And he said, Nyankopon ashe biribi na onipa de no ane pese oye biribi di ama no na okwati de Nyankopon ahye no a na wagu nyame hu fi. That's the idea. And the big deal, as you are asking it, is coming from the fact that they profaned God by just submitting to them what God has not commanded. And that is what caused them their life. Yes.
Into Onyankopon no the washa humra and adukonim. So it's more like you cannot one kasa untimi ntena baby na on device the OP say ebeye glorious to Onyankopon and take it to him.
There be yes, onipa ni ho kwan se oboni tirimu se oye bribi efri on tim se ayo som sa manyame se Nyankopon ye onipa nye wura ye sum nyame ye ne yesum nyame nyame na yesum yen ye ne yesum na wo a wo sum no emrada wo sum no ho enya wo a wo sum na wo kwakire ekwan opaso pese wo sum sani wo yesum no ye kosum nyame no sa mra no Nyankopon na di ama so onipa nkire Nyankopon ekwan opaso sum no na mu nyame na kire dipa ekwan opaso sum no Nyankopon enti bibia onipa de bre nyame no Nyankopon no hwehwe se de ono aka kire dipa no onipa nkwati. And I believe strongly, you read the Bible, and you read some other examples in the Old Testament. The God will just tell you, this is what to do. Fans can come and say, hey, if you don't do this, the way I will destroy you. You see, ye any perfume, see, no kasa. You can't some chilewa. Not as some the important to say. Now your head is should no be attached. Say, hey, I dey want you say pa the way I see a one. That try to show you that we are serious about it. In most cases, when you read the Bible, you realize that God just tell you what to do. He just tell you what to do.
It's Joe, like from what you're saying, the silence of God is an exclusion.
Yes. The silence of God is an exclusion. In other words, what you mean by silence of God? Mami chief the bear. So Nyankopon komuye. The komuye means that ochira say me piwe. Ochira say me piwe. Na wanka the other things. Fani say okacha say me pe emu ewo juada. Right? Me pe emu ewo juada. Na wanka banku ho asem. Wanka betie ho asem. Wanka fufuo ho asem. In other words, he's silent on fufu. He's silent on banku. He's silent on mutu. Wanka ho asem. But the catch on say me pemu. E pe bia me pemu ne adua. Waka. The moment I waka sa asem na kire wo, then we okwati the waka kire wo ye foforo. Now ba jan nim catch him say, hey, na e just wan kan kire me say me the foforo ba wo. Right? Okwati sa ade no now the other thing ne breno. No, what from? That's what you mean by the silence of God. And the silence of God is not permissible. It does not mean that God permitted Nyankopon fa well. If you say Nyankopon onye nipa, right? Nipa na me na o kasana me do nkoma me retimi fi asem. Ndi pa say me soma odwomo me retimi afili. Enti oko to ne ma betima ka say o ka say me ntomilu.
Ba wan kan chine.
O ka say me ntomilu, o ka say me nto sugar. Wan kan milk. Ba milo so ni sugar dey. So be ti. Aka milk. Oba to aba na nipo ampa o me refi. Nipa dey ti bi happen. But Nyankopon dey ente sa, Nyankopon no say dey all catch kire wo no. And I'm say onima dey nyina enti no. Dey all catch on, he mean exactly what he's saying.
Yeah.
Oh, and sometimes we treat God like we treat our fellow man. Right? We treat God like we treat our where there one kabat well begin say we man e beboa. Oh, for adwen ye. Nti wa wonwe, for adwen ye. I say ye go video game. Right? Ubo video game soccer. Now ukra pad no. Sometimes ubenya ka computer ni mobi mwa. Ka obobo obi akwa ha. Na anko play pass on for adwen mo. On for adwen kaka. Oh, player no only sergeant, the all controller. He just controlled by your controller. In the opposite ko ha dia, also ordinary chire ho na obo no call. Only sergeant bi ma. Nti the fact and fa one dia wo dwene wo tiri mu say me pese me bo akwa ha na eno no. Wo pese obo ko ho a chia controller na direct ne ko ebeko.
Na Joe, so monitor on say ye ni pakra no. In silence, actually exclusion. In the sense that me call restaurant no mo tonu ani bebre o ho omo banku omo mutu omo fufu omo tz omo wachi omo jollof jo say me call na me say me compare ebia right. I don't need to tell maame no madam pacho mbeto me to aduane. So Busam said, but you're then I'll pay. I don't need to tell her, Mammy, Miss Roman Peconte, Miss Roman Pebenku.
Yeah.
Miss Roman Pefufu, Miss Roman Pewachi, Mammy, Miss Tea that Mempe. In fact, a total I saw Benjamin Marcus say, Ura.
Oh, how?
Then how? Ura, there, pardon, how?
Oh, how?
Can the open na day?
Yeah,
it's some catcher mammy, some patch me pe by Rene contumry stewer. Mammy didn't say me pe by Rene day.
What was it?
Uncle T. Conconte Eden and Katia named Kuma. No, Saba, you don't find family.
No can just say what? No can just say so one catch them say
The exclusivity though is in the fact that you never mention it. So your silence on something exclude that thing. It is a missing fufu a fufu na mama ne de be me. I don't need to tell mama ne say, oh, actually me pay a kokonte, me pay rice, me pay we me pay. You don't need to make that a list, no. Their own per list. By virtue of you choosing one, no, will automatically put the other ones, into exclusion. Also, I say you put them off because one can't help it. No, the same thing happens when it comes to worship. Yo, say young people say me person when you say it just said the akabia and why excluded. And that should be something that Joe will learn from it. Now, I'm contemplating, say, Joe, Saturday means started. That's why I didn't mention it, but it's something I really want us to look at. Instrumental music. Because it seems like for a lot of questions, a lot of unanswered way with instrumental music. On DBS, I want us to start instrumental music. But Joe, the main person chunk for you say when you can be now one can't they can't one. Name the soccer fan need up and a buy who and somebody because need up and a buy who or more utie Joe so to was now here. Their situation happened in chapter 10.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, from chapter 1 of Leviticus, basic chapter 9, God has been talking about the kind of afrobaho do mumo in him. God has been talking about them. It's Acts at chapter 10, they knew what God wanted.
And to be also to be clear enough,
yes.
Where they are supposed to pick fire from.
Yes, because it was incense na no.
Yes, they were offering a burnt offering unto the Lord.
No, they were supposed to burn incense.
Yes, incense.
Verse 1 no, but you can't me.
Or say another Ben Abib, the sons of Aaron, took either of his censer, then either of them his censer, and put incense thereon, and offered strange fire before the Lord, which he commanded them not.
Exactly. But Joe, so the burn of incense, I'm trying to locate the verse, The burning of incense and Rano Yankopon de Mawon, I think it's in Exodus, Or can't you won't say, so moon be burning incense now. They should go into the burnt offering. A jano. Na Joe, omunko so a jano in freehold. So that's something I think say, Abia, anybody again. Mass say so the incense eja on say incense and kasano enye normal eja edua eja no ene yede hye eja sama it like bidie a eja wom but sa bidie na obekọ akoso no yo yesisa na yete kumanse ne krase no ubara obesoja unija okọ obi ho na wakosu eja na da beku bienim na obom sa na
oboma na so kosu jasrama dwidwirase
good now o bani instance the same thing is okosu jasrama na da be but jasrama na okosu da be no God has specified baby obeyi jana free Joe,
Yeah.
interesting. There's something maybe in microphone taking notice of it. Nyankopon ka kyerɛ so munko yi gyanim free the burnt offering no mu. Na burnt offering no, egya na ewu mu no. Enye nipa na ɛhyɛ aseɛ.
Onyame na na de osohe.
Onyankopon na de to gyanim free soro. The very first day of Moye burnt offering no.
Ono na aso ni gya. Ana o se o pagya. Ko yi gya ne free a. Nti wuti bi ko gyina.
Yes, and what can you say? Say Jana and say doom that. Into a more jar can be only gum surveyor, it will keep burning. Right? It is on one catch say burn a incense offering. No, some will be shit incense now. Moon cost you getting free burnt offering, no muchi and altar and so on. It just say a jar mema palma mono and no have been a moye. Moon incense no meaning. But I'm on sir.
Nti wuti bi nko gyina ho yɛ sɛ wa egya ne kra de kwan wa na wapɛ light bi na tiri na egya right ni nyina soja na wapɛ light bi pa
egya bia egya
ya na so wakɔpɛ matches bi na watwa hwem na watoato na wasto there bi ɔno Nyankopɔn na kyerɛ ɔmo ba bi a ɔmo nyi gya ne mfiri and that was the problem with Nadab and Abihu. And in so doing, by that act, they profaned God. They profaned God. And that is clearly something
it's yo say two bars in our head adena. And interestingly, on say the passage now you kind of saying Aaron now you suffer opinion. Odikan be kwa for the NBO. Odikan born there. Obo wie no. Ena ne mano so yes almost kokobo. And then they decided say ombe pike jano every baby. And sometimes who sound say were they not aware of what God wanted them to do? They were. They were aware of it. And God has specified to them how they were supposed to do this. But Omu decided, say, yes, anything that they thought would be right. But I said, they can't establish in you. Onyango point, no. Oh, can't train Yango Pond, or no, opus away. That's something I know, no, can, no, say, yeah, passage, let's say, young quiet, there be using instrumental music, no? God has specified how our song should be before Him. Now, in the Old Testament, no, say God permitted or allowed instrumental music in His worship. Jew for them, use instrument. But he's a sumo. The instrument that God wants us to use is our heart. Now, Joe, my argument I hold over which I mean, I do deep Bible studies Saturdays, you know. Meto could deeper into it. But Colossians chapter 3, now verse 16 now. Colossians 3:16. Colossians chapter 3, verse 16. Oka enyom to asem. Now say no put it or say, let the word of Christ dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your heart to the Lord. Now, here's our passage we are. And then quick. It's answer Saturday, deep Bible studies. You back to your boss, I could deeper. Instrumental music, you started. The Bible swim me and say, so now ya bomu, ya kumu to company, Sianema be brave. But I crave a meeting and the answer says, all right, yeah. The Bible says, they were to do something. They were to let the word of Christ dwell in them richly, teaching and admonishing one another. Into three things. You are teaching, you are admonishing one another. And also in psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs. And also singing, that's the word, singing with grace in your heart to the Lord. Now, the word singing with grace in your heart, the singing there is silo. As I silo, no. P-S-A-L-L-O. That's the same word in the word Psalm, Ephraim, which is Enyum. Now, the entire way is serious, and I say the word silo in the Septuagint, Old Testament Greek, silo, you see it many places. Greek, Old Bible. But anytime you obey this silo piano, you ocho instrument, because the silo denote or means obo bibi wo bibi so.
Ochichi bibi. And now obo bibi.
It is a obo guitar, guitar. So ahoma no awu ochichi.
To plug a string.
You plug it. It's time beyond the silo no. Sound now will making it will be soon away. So you are making a sound, you are making a melody on something. And at the corner where melody no also no, it's always mentioned which has to do with making music out of sadia. But over New Testament anymore, the same word, the salon is used. But in this case, the instrument cry you have to plug. The instrument cry just say, oh yes, I salon also. And in this case, was singing with grace in your heart. So the heart becomes the instrument. The heart is the place where God wants you to make the music from. Now, Joe, when say that's not our subject, but you remember no, Joe, I saw the call near to Jumwa. We sing without actually understanding what it means. And we sing sometimes what we don't mean. Others say, either we don't understand it, or we are singing it, but we don't really mean it. Oh, Yesu medowa, something like that. Now, obedo Yesu ako and crampa. Is it that you're just singing it or you mean it? And because we sing without understanding, because we sing it because we have to sing it, but we don't really mean what we are saying in a song. And there are a lot of things that we sing about that we don't even understand it. We are just singing it. But Joe, that's not what we need to do. As Paul said, I will sing with the understanding and I will pray with the understanding. In other words, when I'm singing, I want to make sure I understand what I'm singing. The same and we here say mene wona Yesu asa doing. Yemeti ase say neither be na ba hu no. Wo mo ehye ana ejafri so be shimu nku. All because they decided to do something that God has not authorized them. Joe.
Yeah. He decided to do something and that is essentially the problem. Apampo no chenipin say apampo no na usua bia muni ye say kisosum no God has not authorized instrumental music. It has not been authorized, and that is why Let me read some few comments. There's a question that has come in from Eja Akogua. Let's hear you out. Let us know where you're watching us from. Patrick BC watching live from Ajamasu Bekwai. Was out do a tagging for or comment section. Where from Anthony Akogua or say, please, can we use the instrument? Can we use the instrument in home praising God or to train our voice? So there's a difference between trying to entertain yourself, because you can entertain yourself from several ways, and trying to worship God. It's not a sorry them hope per se. That is where the only place you worship God. Say be a worship on God. No. Say say sorry nyankopon so the crux of it is not with the house per se or in our home. The crux of it is it worship to God, or are you entertaining yourself? That's the crux of it. That's where the distinction has to come from. Now the issue is to worship God. Therefore, then the instrument has to be kicked, the mechanical instrument. If I say instrument, there is an instrument, there is a heart, a command, but the mechanical instrument has to be kicked out. But if it is entertainment, like you want to detain yourself, or you are learning how to do these things,
It's Joe. Young clarify say someone can like
yes.
Yeah. Nase your friend is saying instrument come that has nothing to do with the worship of God.
Yes.
I know a social
Anna, okay, but what can you say? My miss can't find so says here quite yeah. I saw in the can a woof so.
I know you're somewhere you see in
Yeah,
that case,
and different
mechanical instrument in because I say awesome.
Yes, you and yes, some yes, some some awful oh. If you awful some now, the Akanino is not a
social event.
A social event that is targeted at trying to mourn, to comfort the people and stuff. They can do all these kinds of things as long as it's within Christian livelihood or stuff. As long as it has something to do with Busiano.
Yes. As an individual, me pay a sound womb and you more a day.
Yeah.
I'm be entertaining myself. That's me. What about say? Obi betimaye, obi wa pesa, obepo hymns and kwa. That's you. But Joe, when it comes to worshiper, won't kopa as soon as you may me the panty, my mobile or soon mom. No, then you are bringing a strange what?
Fire.
A strange fire. Joe, neither ban a die who any Aaron, when you go pan can't chum say, woman, no, you know, mufia, mom, fast a jadby, and God didn't tell them that. Enti eja omo so omo fie no metima so jabia on pese omo so ede no aduane omo fie but omo ntimi mfa sa eja no omo so omo fie no emma se omo be ye oso am be ba fore ya mo nyankopon a om de omo so omo fie no bi beba wo bra nyankopon hye ho mra. That is something we need to see and understand so that you can instrumental music as someone obi biara wutie ye you get a picture. You know, can we use the instruments in praising God or train our voice? The question is, if it is praising God there, then meaning where you were going with it, meaning so we there now cannot. But if you are praising God there, then it's totally different. That is just like you coming before the Lord in worship. And in this worship, bro, it's not just worship. You can worship God on your own in your family setting. When it's that case, then you don't bring those things before the Lord because on share homra. And I think that's a clarification. Yo, the person me de Emma the question on minim say who be out best so na Ebrano fancy because and the question be answered.
Yeah, I know I'm maker say I know I did not kind of maker. So there has to be a distinction between something for your personal edification or for your personal entertainment and something for offering as worship to God. That has to be distinguished. If it's your personal stuff, you are trying to entertain yourself and build yourself up or something like that, you can do that. But say Nyankopon also sorry no there and then you're not can and only man. It has nothing to do with whether it's a sorry dying. A dying day dying. People and the be share is different. It has nothing to do with that. Or it even has nothing to do with the Sunday. So it's not because it's Sunday in teen I want to mean yet. No, it has nothing. It has something to do with whether you are offering it as worship to God or you are using it as entertaining of yourself. And those are the two distinctions. Though sometimes it becomes difficult trying to draw a line between
entertainment and
yes, yeah. Where do you draw the line? But with time, with careful studies, you can draw some of these distinctions clearly. That's what I said. And then they'll say this, and then on the part, somehow, but yeah,
I think we don't have any pending issues there to do with, but the income in the pantias say, Joe, an instrument in our can, we need to put it well in proper perspective. We are not just saying using of mechanical instrument. We are saying using of mechanical instrument in worship. And Joe, Yanka Nibio say microphone and your mechanical instrument. What was it? And adding anything to the sound.
So any mechanical instrument of music.
Music, exactly. And a mechanical instrument of music is different. And other things, other mechanical or other instruments are also different. We need to understand that. What we are talking about, mechanical music in worship. And you ask them to say, Oyankopon, Enshe Homra, and Conquer. And Conquer.
Yo, Nyankopon Homra, and Conquer.
Yeah, I will be able to.
Yeah. Oh, many BB can. Mose Daniel Badin, also watching live from Circle. Meaning, say triangle there, circle. Be a triangle, but Apreku Kaswa Chiro, Udu Kaswa, a man, so money, a mouthful now honoshe, but Adumadum, I must say, but to me, Abankai, Waba Bedru Circle. Particularly, so what's the duty of assembly when it comes to correcting each other? How should it be done? Particularly, would the bishop feed next week, Bantam never put to question me. Now, young Fanchassi. Pashadak, yada adofwasi se mo jibre hwe
yes,
na
sir.
ye bobo nsemo asidan komo bibira o jibre na ohwe ye adomdom ya ye bese hye bi median Jonathan Mensa bonso ne numre mene Pashadak anetina kwankwani ase na yetina kwankwani ase no ye bobo bible nsemo de e ka chiwu nya ne se nokra wo bible ni mu nti mo ni nko bible adusua ho na esitina Yakopon asem ya kro bibia. Bye-bye.